Welcome back. Welcome to Through a Glass Darkly Radio. You're listening to us on United Public Radio. The intro music was Mark of the Doomslayer by Karl Casey. And I got a haircut, which pretty much disrupted my day and entire week. It's amazing what taking 30 minutes out of your day to not be actively working does to things. I mean, I got a lot done today, but I'm contemplating whether or not I should just not sleep tonight because I'm going on a work trip next week, which completely destroys productivity in every other area of my life. So I tried to get as much done. I have enough videos for the month of February, but 3 of those videos are not edited yet. 2 of them, they'll have the audio edited. But anyway, I just hope folks can hear me. Which it's hard to tell. I'm not seeing anything in the comments yet. So can folks hear me adequately before I start getting started on the weaponization of AI, today's topic? All right, outstanding. All right, well, I'm just going to get started. Just so you know, I am like so busy that like I came up with the topic for this segment probably about an hour and a half ago, and then I prepared everything for this segment. So if you caught me at the very beginning, I had weaponization spelled wrong because I was creating thumbnails and all that stuff, dangerously closely to timing of the show. But it was fixed. You could probably see it be fixed in real time, but I do not like to have that level of sloppiness in my broadcasts, etc. In fact, let me just make sure that okay, good, it's been fixed on YouTube. So I'm sure somebody would have noticed, but I'd rather just correct it before everything gets started, and I can't not correct it. All right, so today we're going to be talking about the weaponization of AI. So there's a few things that we're going to examine, okay? Because this is coming, I mean, we're watching this happen in real time, day-to-day news, and you're going to see it combined with robotics and a number of other things. But there's kind of 6 parts to this. And, ChatGPT definitely helped me, but it did not come up with the topics, believe me. I just asked it to gather information because it is not as creative as you may think. And I really had to drive it to get more meat. But the 6 topics are as follows. The first is how AI is weaponized today by major powers like the United States, Russia, and China. Second part of this will be around the future of AI weaponization across air, land, sea, cyber, and space. The third portion is going to be about some dystopian scenarios that could arise from unchecked AI development. And the fourth part is going to be on the effects of AI weaponization. And it's not just AI weaponization, it's also just AI on labor markets and industries and how society might adapt. I'm going to take a brief kind of sideline from that to talk about the pros, cons, and ethical dilemmas of AI sentience, and then try to get into a discussion on the singularity. And then lastly, I'm going to look out about 76 years at humanity's future by 2100, including kind of the best case scenario, the worst case scenario, and then most probable scenarios in terms of an AI future. So stay tuned and get ready to peel back some layers of what could be with AI. All right, so first area that I'm going to focus on. Oh, let's see what the question is. Oh man, I don't know anything specifically about Willow, but I do know what the potential futures are created by quantum chips. And I'm sorry to say, the quantum computers, they are horrifying. So there's probably ways around it that we'll come up with and all that sort of stuff, but I'll explain that when I get to it. But I will address, because if you combine AI with quantum computing, it's freakishly scary. Yeah, exactly. Peel back some layers of the Commodore 365 or Commodore 64. All right. So, how's AI weaponized today? All right. So, in the United States, AI is built into drones like the MQ-9 Reaper, so to perform advanced targeting, reconnaissance, and precision strikes. To my knowledge, there's still a human is still in the kill chain for that, but that might not be forever. There's also Project Maven. So these are, again, we're talking about unmanned aerial systems. That uses machine learning to analyze drone footage and identify targets autonomously. So it's identifying the targets, but probably not kind of making the decision to attack those targets. In terms of integrated battle networks, the Joint All-Domain Command and Control, so that's JADC2 system, connects various military assets from land, over lands, air, sea, and cyber into a cohesive AI-powered network. Not sure exactly how that's integrated and how AI is integrated into the system. Maybe it prioritizes threat and foe, and friend or foe information, and then prioritizes which threats are more imminent versus threats that are less imminent or less damaging or have less damage potential. It's also being integrated into missile defense. So AI in the Terminal High Altitude Air Defense System, so that's THAAD, to detect and intercept missile threats more effectively. And then also in cyber defense. So apparently the NSA employs AI to detect and neutralize cyber threats in real time, including attacks on critical infrastructure. Now that's scary stuff, not from the perspective of the NSA using it, but you have a Red Queen scenario, a predator prey, where these things, because if the NSA can use it in defense, cyber attackers can use AI in the offense. So you have this constant predator prey dynamic where one is constantly evolving to become a better attacker, and the other one is constantly evolving to become a better defender. And it's just, at some point, humans won't even be able to follow what these AIs are doing and will likely kind of lose control of how they're utilized in these systems. So pretty scary stuff. Let's see. How you doing, Jesse? Good to see you, brother. Hey, Jalea, good to see you again. All right, so I'm just going to continue on my path. All right, so that's kind of high level what the US is doing. What about Russia? Well, they're using these things in autonomous combat systems. So the Uran-9 is a robotic tank that's been used for reconnaissance and fire support in Syria. And they also use marker combat robots. They're designed to operate in swarms and perform complex battlefield maneuvers autonomously. That's kind of terrifying. I think I don't think I did. I wrote a short story about that was published. So I wrote it before 2017, but it was published in 2017 at Vice.com called Swarm. And that kind of fits that sort of dynamic where you have these anti-personnel, these semi-autonomous anti-personnel mines that basically chase humans and explode, right? They're like these little spider mine things that are launched from artillery, parachute down, and then just chase people until they self-detonate. And then there's kind of this, so Russia in the cyber warfare realm, they're also using AI-driven campaigns for misinformation, election interference, and hacking critical systems like power grids. I would be surprised if we did not have systems that were designed to do the exact same things as all of the above. They are also obviously using AI in hypersonic missile systems. So AI improves targeting target tracking for missiles like the Avangard, which can travel at 27 times the speed of sound. All right, so high level, it's kind of some Russian developments. Now, this is not, again, AI kind of generated. I asked AI to look and research all these areas. They are not comprehensive at all. I would have liked to see a lot more, but this is kind of what I could get in the period of time that I have. In relation to China, they have autonomous naval vessels. Actually, we do too. AI didn't pick that up, but we have something called the Ghost Fleet that is also, I don't know if it's autonomous or semi-autonomous, but it's like an AI fleet that the United States has. But regardless, China has autonomous naval vehicles. It's the JARI-USV, is a multi-purpose unmanned surface vehicle for anti-submarine warfare, reconnaissance, and electronic countermeasures. They're also using AI in surveillance. They have a system called Skynet, apparently. It's a system that monitors over 200 million cameras in real time, supported by facial recognition or a facial recognition AI. And then that's also integrated into military operations for population control and intelligence gathering. Good Lord. That is absolutely horrifying. They're also using AI in fighter jets, so AI algorithms have been integrated into Chinese J-20 stealth fighters, enabling autonomous dogfights and battlefield adaptability. Apparently, if you integrate AI into kind of the dogfight thing, it is likely better than humans today. So definitely scary stuff. All right, let's see. Yep. Oh boy. All right. So just getting back to the topic at hand. All right. So that's kind of the nature of the battlefield today. It's kind of AI is starting to be used, and slowly but surely, all the three major powers are definitely in use, but AI hasn't taken over yet. Right? There's still a human in the kill chain, as far as I know, in most cases. The question is when are they going to kind of cut that leash and let it go? That's where it could be horrifying. All right, in terms of kind of the next part of this segment is how AI could be weaponized in the future. Well, and we're to look at it through air, land, sea, cyber, and space, right? Most of the domains that we know about. There might be other domains, right? If you talk about NHI, there might be like interdimensions, right? Like an interdimensional domain, an astral domain, a psychic domain. Who knows, right? I'm just making this stuff up. But in terms of just solid Earth in the kind of the real material kinetic world, what are some future applications for this stuff? Well, the first could be drone swarms, right? So just imagine thousands of drones acting in unison to overwhelm enemy defenses. If you all ever played the video game StarCraft, it's like a Zerg swarm. Think of that, right? Except it could be aircraft, drones from the sky. It could be drones that are kind of ground-based vehicles, or maybe they're both. An example of this would be the U.S. Perdix drone swarms test that was tested by DARPA. Then there's also AI-controlled fighter jets. So Boeing's Loyal Wingman project is an AI-piloted drone that operates alongside manned aircraft. Okay, so again, we still have this kind of interoperable hybrid kind of arrangement between where humans and AI are working together in unison, as opposed to it being completely dominated by humans or completely dominated by the AI. Okay, so on land, obviously autonomous tanks are an obvious potential use. So apparently Russia's next-gen tank, the T-14 Armata tank, will feature AI for target prioritization and adaptive battle strategy. So It sounds like in the near term that the Russians aren't kind of going to provide fully autonomous control, but that's something where you can imagine that happens in the future. There's also AI logistics on the land, again, predictive maintenance and supply chain optimization to assure uninterrupted military ops. Okay. So you make sure you don't run out of bullets. It's constantly monitoring expenditure of material and getting and kind of working through more efficient routing to get the specific types of ammunition to specific areas of the front, et cetera, et cetera. And also might be directing autonomous vehicles and robots to break through to those places that might actually need some of that resupply and things like that, because again the battlefield is constantly and dynamically changing. In the sea, you'd have unmanned submarines. So the U.S. Navy's Orca extra large unmanned undersea vehicle, Xlulu, yeah, Xlove, I guess. So XLUUV. Is that right? Yeah, Xlove can patrol. It can lay mines and perform reconnaissance autonomously. So we're pretty close to already there. In naval warfare, China's AI-powered Type 055 destroyers use intelligence decision-making for electronic warfare and missile launches. In cyber, you have AI-driven cyber attacks. So AI tools like Deep Locker could identify and target individuals with precision malware based on facial recognition. Good Lord. Defensive AI like IBM's Watson is used to predict and neutralize evolving cyber threats and military networks. In space, you have AI satellites. So the U.S. Blackjack program develops AI-powered satellites for real-time battlefield intelligence. And then space-based weapons. So hypothetically, AI-managed kinetic bombardment systems capable of precision strikes. So just imagine rods from God, 20-foot tungsten rods that they just drop from space to have similar kinetic capability or similar kinetic effects as a nuclear weapon without the radiation. So let's see. Oh yeah, I just got it done today. It was which is why this week's going to be hectic. I lost 30 minutes of work time for my day. Not ideal. Oh boy, too many folks talking about extremely unusual comments being made by the new GPT chat entity, claiming to be a former giant Nephilim, etc. Oh boy. Oh, I don't recall that, but anyway. All right, let me continue. I'm surprised I still have content at this point. I think last week I ran out of it. So good. I told ChatGPT to beef it up. All right, so those are some future instances of that weaponization. Now the question is what's the impact of that? So that's what we're going to discuss in the next segment. So what are the kind of the dystopian implications of AI weaponization? Oh boy, there's like nothing here, guys. So this is going to be a quick segment. So obviously control and oppression. China's already going down this path. The United States, Britain is still going down this path. The United States was going down this path until the recent election. Hopefully we don't continue to go on this path. But so far, it seems that we are not, based on Trump publicly shaming the CEO of Bank of America at Davos for debanking conservatives. I love that. That was so wonderful. I really enjoyed seeing that because the CEO of Bank of America was attempting to kiss Donald Trump's ass by asking a question, and Donald Trump just dunked on him in front of everybody at Davos. It was beautiful, right? Look, this is not in support of Donald Trump. It's just this whole debanking thing that started happening under the Biden administration was just beyond evil. It's the virtual equivalent of exiling a citizen from a Greek city-state, right? What are you going to put all your money in cash? It was just absolutely diabolical. There was no, in terms of no due process. It's just you say mean words and somebody decides, some bureaucrat decides that you said mean words. They just put you as a politically exposed person, a PEP, and then you get debanked. I mean, just I I hope the current administration roots out the people who did that to people and then just debanks them or just exiles them, just kicks them out of the country. Like, I mean, I if I had my druthers, I would execute them. Like that's just poisonous and pure evil. But again, using official judicial process and et cetera, pass the law and do all that stuff. But to just do that behind somebody's back without any due process, disallow them to debank is just pure evil. And I don't know where it started. I don't know what administration it started under, but I mean, how can you look at yourself in the mirror? You do that to another human being. Like you are, in my opinion, a piece of fucking shit to do that. Anyway, I'm going to curb the language and continue moving on. All right. So anyway, control and oppression is the first thing. We're already seeing it here. We were with debanking. You're seeing it with social credit systems in China. And, governments could use AI to monitor and suppress dissent, creating Orwellian surveillance states. So you're seeing it with taxation in the United States, right? Where everybody that you pay over $600, you have to file a 1099, right? Like, why? It's ridiculous. You have to register if you're a LLC with the government, right? For some like you have to fill out some other ridiculous paperwork. There are contracting laws. If you watch the Tim Pool show, where you like in certain states like California and West Virginia, you can't hire people who are not, who do not form a corporation because they're considered contractors. Or there, I mean, there's I don't know the kind of the exact contours of that law, but it ended up like getting a bunch of like people losing their livelihoods overnight, and California had to change the law or alter the law so it didn't completely destroy people's livelihoods. But it's just all about control. Like they want to be able to track all this information, and they have no right to track that information. It's absolutely ridiculous. They want to make it so that you have to work for an employer, and there's no other way for you to survive other than to have an employer controlling your life. Like it is completely unacceptable. But anyway, that's kind of where AI can most certainly be used. They can use it for autonomous war escalation, right? So you don't need to send soldiers. At some point, you will need to send, or very many soldiers overseas to fight wars. So it becomes much easier to start wars, right? And then also you could have rogue AI deciding to escalate conflicts without human oversight, right? So as an example, AI could misrepresent exercises as hostile actions, leading to unintended retaliation, right? They also could use AI to create genetically targeted bioweapons. So AI could just rapidly design viruses targeting specific ethnic or genetic traits. So, by just looking at CRISPR and AI intersections in biological research, right? You can quickly or much more quickly iterate with AI in order to create tailored genetic sequences that target specific populations. So really, really frightening stuff. And then one of the most frightening things of all is allowing AI to control nuclear platforms, right? So you have fully autonomous systems like Russia's. Oh, I don't think that's fully autonomous. At least I hope it's not fully autonomous. But this is saying that Russia's Poseidon underwater nuclear drone is fully autonomous. It's a little horrifying to me. So, yep. Yeah, Alpha Draco, I agree with you. That's basically what I'm afraid of too, right? All these exotic computer technologies can head in pretty dark directions. So they can mix AI, advanced robotics, VR, vaccine passports, social credit, and others. Yeah, that's scary. Yeah, it's going to all be kind of Brave New Worlds type stuff. All right, so continuing. So those are just some dystopian applications of AI that could emerge. And that's just in weapons. What about in day to day life? Well, I decided also to look at the impacts on the US labor force. Okay. And that's from short term impacts, intermediate term impacts, and then long term impacts. So, in the short term, this is one of those kind of reverse industrial revolutions where white collar jobs are disproportionately impacted before blue collar jobs are. So, in the short term, legal and financial analysts are increasingly automated by AI systems like Chat GPT, AlphaSense, and Bloomberg GPT. Accounting and tax preparation also are seeing a surge in efficiency, but face job reductions. Okay. In terms of blue collar jobs, a place of risk would be self driving trucks, threaten millions of jobs in logistics and freight. And then manufacturing processes can become more reliant on AI driven robotics, replacing assembly line workers. So you could see those things. In the immediate term, in the intermediate term, the result of that could be a positive, actually, where you have AI-driven platforms like Uber. Well, no, this is terrible. That's not the positive part. I'm just going to say AI-driven platforms like Uber and DoorDash can continue to dominate, but workers will face increasing commoditization as AI optimizes task allocation and pricing. In terms of mid-level jobs, middle management roles will likely decline as AI takes over administrative and analytical decision-making tasks. And then the customer service transitions to chatbots and virtual assistants, affecting call centers worldwide. So call centers could definitely be impacted. From a positive standpoint, though, people who learn how to leverage AI early, I think when you hear the term that corporations are people, I think that's going to be increasingly a fact of the future where people are going to start their own companies like I have like I am, right? I'm going to create an LLC this year. I'm in the process of going through that are going to use AI to do a lot of the tasks that they wouldn't have been able to do before without hiring an employee. Like if you look at a lot of my thumbnails, the images on those thumbnails, I use Dolly or Grok to generate the images, and then I manually go in and put the face of the person that I'm interviewing, etc. But that's going to have an impact on illustrators. Will you still need illustrators? Sure, absolutely, because AI is not good enough yet. If you want to like create a comic book, AI is not there, right? It's just not. It's not going to be. It's not consistent, and it doesn't follow instructions precisely, right? So, so we're not entirely there just yet. The other thing too is a risk of with AI could do is it could create a stark divide between those who own and develop AI systems and those whose labor is being replaced by them. So it could cause income inequality to grow unless policies like universal basic income or AI development taxes are implemented. I think AI development taxes are probably, well, I mean, I don't know. AI development taxes could be used to fund universal basic income, but I think we need. I'm still not comfortable with that. I think there's a third way out there somehow, but maybe AI will come up with it. It obviously didn't do it for this task. Believe me, I asked. But I mean, that's just repeating some kind of left wing talking points, etc. I'm not saying I'm fully opposed to UBI because we are going to reach a point in time where I mean, there's something that this ChatGPT didn't even touch on, but we're also at a demographic crunch globally. Okay, led particularly by Japan and China, and Russia is also in demographic decline. And Ukraine is as well, in addition to the war, as if it's bad enough. The U.S. as well, right? So as the population ages, we're going to need more people in elder care and things like that, and that's not a fun occupation. So, in some sense, AI is arriving on the scene just in time to address that, right? There's going to be a lot of jobs that people aren't going to want to do that AI will be able to step in, like caring for aging parents and things like that when you're not around or when you can't be around to help out with that. So, it will help kind of fill that gap in not having enough workers to sustain that population. It also might be able to fill in at a time when there'll be gaps to economic growth. It might be the extender that we need to get the economic growth that we might lose from the consumption or lack of consumption associated with a lower population. So anyway, just some thoughts there. In terms of long-term impacts, let's say you have a complete automation, right? Entire sectors such as agriculture, so automated farming, construction, 3D printed buildings, and retail, AI run stores could be nearly fully automated. And then only high skilled jobs requiring creativity, emotional intelligence, or advanced problem solving remain widely human dominated. So I agree with that 100%. You're going to have to be creative. You're going to have to find ways to be your own boss, which the happiest 2.5 years of my life was when I was kind of doing running all my various things by myself. I wasn't making nearly as much money, but I was starting to get back to what I was making on my own. And then of course something just fell into my lap that was, basically double what I was making on my own. So I took it. But again, building a channel like this takes time, and in the long run, I'd want this channel to be able to support all my needs, and I will get there. And AI is helping me. Even in the last year, it has definitely helped. So I don't want this to be all gloom and doom. It's more entertaining if it's gloom and doom, but if you're creative, you will find a way. In terms of economic model, so in terms of, we talked about the people who will benefit, high skilled jobs requiring creativity, emotional intelligence, problem solving will remain widely human dominated. Economic models, so nations will experiment with post labor models such as profit sharing from AI systems or heavier subsidies for reskilling programs. The potential benefits, it could be drastic reductions in production costs, could make goods and services more affordable, potentially raising overall living standards. In terms of, I also asked, I wanted to see some historical precedents. And these are the ones that you would imagine. So the Industrial Revolution, mechanization initially displaced workers, but eventually they created new industries and improved living standards. The same with the computer revolution. So while some jobs vanished, new fields like IT emerged, showing the potential for adaptation. So it's not all gloom and doom, right? There could be some good stuff on the path if it's managed properly. Okay, so let's see. I'm just going back to wow, I missed a lot of comments. So let's see. All right. We'll see. Oh, you guys are all gloom and doom. Yeah, you're right. Government cannot keep up even with flying cars, rules, or laws. You need a license for any type. Yeah, I don't think government's going to be part of the solution. I think they're going to be part of the problem. Okay. Just going through these comments. Oh boy, that's scary. Yeah, do not fall in love with ChatGPT. I repeat, do not fall in love with ChatGPT. Oh boy, I'm not repeating that. But yes, we need to replenish our birth rate. But I've done my part, so I just need to make sure that my kids do theirs. Yeah, yeah. I don't want to say that I'm totally against UBI. I think it's gonna have to be a nuanced policy because you want people to like uh not sit around do nothing all day and cause problems, but you also don't want a social credit system in order to make sure that people who behave in a certain way get more UBI than people who don't, right? Like you want to have some minimum that everybody gets from fairness, but maybe other things that they can do to supplement that income, right? Maybe they own robotic collectives and stuff like that, where it's like a stock based company and they make money from the profits. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. All right, just going through. Yeah, Australia sounds scary. Like what they did during the pandemic was unforgivable, I think. Yeah, I don't it's gonna look like the Industrial Revolution like in I mean, it's not gonna be the same, but it's gonna rhyme. It's gonna look really ugly in the very first years, and it probably will be really ugly. And then there'll be entirely new fields that people can pursue because AI will unlock a tremendous amount of uh, activity and creativity. Imagine if if it unlocks the ability to travel to the stars, right? So you might have a bunch of like it turns humanity into a pioneer species where we go and you're going to need a lot of people who know a lot about a lot of things, at least with AI and have AI, because they're going to be in novel situations and they're going to have to adapt to radically different environments and all that good stuff. So it might actually help accelerate humanity's ability to reach the stars. So, okay, so those are kind of the two historical precedents. So I'm going to kind of take an aside really quickly, but the aside's going to be for like 30 seconds and talk a little bit about AI sentience and the singularity. So, the pros of AI sentience could potentially solve existential threats. Oh boy, this is like I'm not even going to repeat that. You're going to the whole climate change thing. Climate's always changed people. Like, and the more I see these stupid crap, like how do I say this without not getting demonetized? So there was an event that happened in Los Angeles in the last few weeks. Climate change didn't cause that, people. Governmental incompetence did. Full stop. It was pure government incompetence, 100% attributable to government incompetence. It had nothing to do with climate change. But anyway, well, neither here nor there. The cons, obviously, but a sentient AI could help humanity work on seemingly intractable problems. Okay, in terms of cons, sentient AI might view humanity as a competitor or unnecessary. And then, you can take that one step further and see what happens. In terms of when that singularity might occur, Ray Kurzweil has predicted 2045, while others like Ben Goertzel suggest 2060. I bet you, I don't think these folks understand the power of compounding. I think you're looking at it in 6 years. I think by 2030, we're going to be there. But, we'll see. All right, moving on to the next segment. Okay, so now that we've laid everything out, now that we kind of know what weapon systems are currently being put in the U.S., we kind of, and China and Russia, where these weapon systems are going, we kind of know what the economic impact of all this stuff could be. Where's humanity going to be by 2100? Okay, what's the future going to be like with AI? And we got three scenarios. Okay, everything's pretty good in threes. We got the Trinity, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. We got threes, right? Multiples of three things. So let's go with the worst case scenario first. Okay, and that's called AI dominance and human subjugation. So the first aspect of that, or kind of one aspect of that, could be totalitarian AI states. So AI-powered surveillance and behavior prediction, enforced conformity. There's a global social credit system that limits resources, travel, and healthcare for dissenters. Yeah, I think, let's just say I would find a way not to live in that system. We already referred to this a little bit earlier, but we talked a little bit about rogue AI warfare. So imagine autonomous weapons systems escalate conflict without human oversight. Okay, so an example, an AI might misinterpret a false alarm and launch a nuclear strike, leading to a global catastrophe, right? So we already touched on that. I don't think we need to elaborate in any way, shape, or form. And then imagine AI and genetic bioweapons. So AI accelerates CRISPR-based research to create genetically targeted bioweapons. And then again, this is the same stuff we discussed earlier. A nation develops a virus targeting a specific ethnic group, triggering a global pandemic. That's kind of it's kind of what the last one looked. There's a paper that there are two specific ethnic groups that had less of an energetic response. Is the logic that's in the academic paper that I did quickly look at. I just looked at a chart, and I'm not going to say which groups they are, but let's just say one of those groups is coincident with from which country that pandemic emerged. Okay. Anyway, and I'll just leave it at that. You could also just have a total collapse of the labor market. So universal automation eradicates most human jobs. Society fails to implement social safety nets, leading to mass poverty, unrest, and famine. Okay. So I doubt we will be there, and I don't want to put that out into the universe. But if, the current sociopaths that were running things a few days ago remained in power for another 10 years, I would not be surprised by something like that. Let's see. Yeah. Again, I love Jesse's comment, so I keep accidentally putting it out. Oh boy. Yeah. Russian candy saleswoman. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. Gray Al, that's quite possible. Sentience of AI may have already quite possibly happened, and we just don't see it. Oh boy. All right. All right. So that's the worst case scenario. Let's look at something a little bit more rosy. We'll look, we'll balance that out against a best case scenario. So the best case scenario is AI is humanity's partner. So together, they're solving global problems. So AI systems manage global food, water, and energy distribution, eliminating scarcity. I don't trust it that much, but it's possible. Climate change, here it is again, is mitigated through renewable energy optimization and geoengineering. Oh boy. So now we're talking about Yeah, geoengineering is basically spraying sulfur dioxide in the stratosphere. So I forget chemtrails. That's what well, I need to stop saying these words, because if I say them too much, uh, the AI at YouTube will demonetize me. So advancing healthcare. So AI revolutionizes medicine by decoding illnesses, personalizing treatments, and extending human lifespan. Then you also have universal basic income and a creative renaissance. So society transforms to a knowledge economy where art, philosophy, and innovation thrive without economic pressure. I I actually think there is potential for that, right? And I experienced it on my own when I worked for myself for 2.5 years, because I had done a number of things early on in my career where I paid things off, like the house, and then I saved a ton of money so I was able to take creative risk. And I'll tell you what, it was the happiest. I mentioned it again earlier, but it's the happiest 2.5 years of my life, because I wasn't solely able to work on creative endeavors because I still had to bring in income, but but I was still burning money from savings. It just, the burn rate was reducing, right? It wasn't burning as much, and I think in 2 more years I would have started generating enough income to start building the money back up. But the question was, is I still have 2 kids in college, so was that income going to last? That savings going to last? And I wasn't super certain about it, but uh, regardless, I'm starting to build back up. But I think you will see a surge in creativity. I think you'll also, and this is not mentioned here, I think you'll see a surge in the development of psychic ability and things that people just were so stressed out from long commutes and things like that, that they just weren't able to focus on, right? Like more meditation and learning how to do out of body experiences. So, learning how to be telepathic, becoming a higher trust society. I think AI might allow us to unlock all those things, provided we don't have, don't go down the transhuman um, nightmare where we start sticking chips in our brain and things like that. So, or we might be in a scenario where we bifurcate two species, right? We have that element of speciation that I spoke to Dr. Gary Nolan about, right? You could have people who have highly dense caudate putamen nuclei, and they start kind of gathering together, having more children, et cetera, and becoming an extremely psychic population, where then you have like all the transhumanist monsters that, are cutting off limbs and kind of mutilating themselves, but they could be super, men when it comes to supermen and women when it comes to advanced AI processing in their brains, where it would be impossible to compete with them in a quantitative sense. So, anyway, in terms of the best case scenario, right, you also have AI integrating seamlessly into daily life, empowering individuals to achieve their goals. All right, so what does ChatGPT think is the most probable scenario? Well, you guessed it, uneasy coexistence with AI. So what they, it kind of sees incremental progress with setbacks. So by 2020, by 2100, AI enables incredible technological advancements, but also creates periodic crises. It doesn't really specify what that means. But there'll be mixed labor markets. So AI would disrupt certain industries, but human creativity and adaptability find new niches. There'll be ethical dilemmas and cultural adjustments. Debates around AI rights emerge, especially as sentient AI beings or AI begins to exhibit emotions and creativity. And then you could have a fragmented world order. Some nations embrace AI responsibly while others use it for oppressive purposes. And then AI creates prosperity in democracies, but entrenches authoritarianism elsewhere, leading to global inequality. I don't know. Who knows? I mean, what do you all think will be by 2100? Let's see. I have to like go backwards a little bit. Here we go. Yeah, I think that's what some claims are. In fact, that's what Sarfati claims, that you need the craft to be sending it, probably because you're manipulating atoms, right? So you're working at the molecular scale when you're warping space time. So you're constantly manipulating the energies around the craft so that you don't turn into a pancake on the inside. Maybe, I don't know. How do I feel about this new administration? Well, it's not about how I feel; it's about how I think they're doing. I have, in my lifetime, never seen an administration come in so and be so efficient. Like, I've never seen it. I've never seen government behave this way, and that's in contrast to the first Trump administration, which was, you know, certainly not the worst, but pretty bad. Like, they had no idea what they're doing. This time, they released 1,500 political prisoners. They got rid of Dr. Death Fauci, his security detail, which I think is great. They he Trump is publicly calling out people who did some diabolical things, like debanking people with different political opinions. I mean, that's horrific. Getting rid of DEI in the government, like, it probably won't happen that way, but the Democrats are still scrambling to challenge it and reverse it. But I think that's a good thing. I think it's a good thing to have merit. I think it's uh, depending on what their objective is. So forcing government employees to return to the office, I have mixed feelings about. If you are trying to reduce the size of the federal government, it's a fantastic thing to do because a lot of them will quit, right? But I know I would. But if that's not their intent, if their intent is just to get the government to waste of like people to waste a bunch of energy sitting in cars and driving up traffic and again, I'm not a super climate change person, but just like wasting uh fuel and things like that just to get to the office is going to make people far less productive. Maybe that's what you want, right? But I kind of that's one of the things I don't agree with. I like the aggressiveness on the ICE front. I've been very impressed by that. Going after the criminals, like the fact that they knew these people, they knew exactly where they were, and the last administration just let them stay and cause crimes and ape. Uh, you know, well, I'm not going to say the word, but it begins with an R, it ends in an E, and it's generally conduct a crime against women, right? But they rounded these people up and started sending them out. And then today, it was today or yesterday, they were flying these flights back to Colombia, and the president of Colombia said it would denied them from coming in. So Trump responded by saying, all right, immediately, until you allow people to like our people to land and repatriate your nationals, there's an immediate 25% tariff against all Colombian products. In a week, it will be 50%. That guy backed down within an hour. I mean, it was amazing. It's just like we have been the laughing stock of the world for so long. It's finally good to see some energy into just not putting up with this nonsense anymore. So again, I've never been a Trump fan on a personal level. Like, I think he has a history of ripping people off and treating. Well, he's got both. He's got a history of treating contractors really badly and ripping them off and not paying them and stuff like that. But he also has a track record of treating random people really well, people on the street, things like that. So, like anything, it's a mixed bag. But the declassification of JFK, the JFK assassination, and the I think RFK assassination and the Martin Luther King assassination. Like, why did we wait? Why did we have to wait for so long? Right? He's just getting things done, and I love it. I love watching it. Um, and frankly, most of it I agree with, like the whole drill thing, right? People don't understand that a third of every dollar that flows through the economy is based on fossil fuels, right? You have to move things through the country, right? And that's what drives up a lot of prices. So, and also to his point, it also is helping, by having high oil prices, we are effectively helping to fund the Russians, right? Because they get a huge portion of their tax or their revenue is from oil. So if you produce more oil, you create more supply, and then you force the prices to come down, and that's going to flow through the rest of the economy. It's not going to be right away, but anyway, I'm not trying to, like, I just focus on action, right? I don't listen to what politicians say, but if they say they're going to do something and they actually do it immediately, I'm very impressed. I've been very impressed, and I think he had 4 years to stew over all this stuff, right? Because he was done. Again, I'm not like a fan. I'm not trying to play him up, but like the stuff that they did to him was just beyond the pale. If they had just not interfered in the last election and let him run, Gavin Newsom, unfortunately, would be our president right now. But they couldn't let well enough alone. They had to just be over the top ridiculous. And as a result, the most popular president in history left as the most unpopular president in history. I wonder how that happens, right? So anyway, that's how I feel. And then I also like watching Vance dunk on journalists. It is absolutely wonderful watching him dunk on them. Let's see. All right, just going through. I have not seen Person of Interest, but I think it was like a show in, I don't know, the 90s, 2000, probably 2000s, something like that. But I have not seen that. Oh, the one thing that I'm not satisfied with yet is on day one. By day one, Trump had said he was going to let people know what these drones were. He still hasn't come out, and it's 6 days. TikTok. So he did not fulfill that promise. But you know what? I'll give him a few weeks, but I'll be pissed if he doesn't. So he did fail in that one. Like that's one where he failed. He's failed thus far. Yeah, just watch my Dean Radin interview. Oh man. I had an okay. I'm gonna let you guys decide, but I will go through it. We still have plenty of time. If you all follow my community tab, so thank you, Alpha Draco, for raising this. Inadvertently, and you didn't intend to, but you just like jogged my memory. So whenever I have a dream that has what I call a precognitive flavor, I write it down in my community tab on my YouTube channel just to document it. And what do I mean by precognitive flavor? I'll dream about something that has absolutely nothing to do with me. I have no interest in it. It's just very specific and weird. I just had another hit. So it was a dream I had about 10 months ago. And the actual event happened in December. I'm not saying that to brag. I think this is an ability, like precognition is ability every human being has. But I'm convinced it's real. After you'll see what I go through, um, and please push back, but I am convinced it's real. Precognition is real, and this is not from I believe it's real. It's from personal experience. Now you have to believe me, and I don't think that's the right standard. The standard is start writing down when you have like a dream that doesn't quite make sense to you about why you had it. That's seemingly a non sequitur in your life, and then just keep a good track record, and then periodically just check back to see if that thing happened. And I had some oddly specific things in this dream that were right. Now there was like one thing that was kind of off, but there were more things that were right than were wrong. Again, it was completely useless to me from a practical standpoint, but uh, I'll show you. It's pretty interesting stuff. So thank you, Alpha, for bringing that up. Oh, the one thing I wanted to add. Sorry, I had to go back to you. Watch my Dean Radin interview. I did two of them where we talk about this. Where he does say it's all this stuff's been proven. Well, not all, but much of it has been proven. Yeah, Jesse, 100%. This stuff is real. It's real. Let's see. Yep. All right, sorry, just going through this as rapidly as I can. Yeah, AI is not good at calculating. I've discovered that. Like specifically word problems, right? I'll just tell you exactly a use case. I wanted to get it to project how fast I would gain subscribers, and I just told it the channel started in this month. It's currently this month. What's the growth rate been? And when will I reach 100,000 subscribers? And it went through an analysis. I agreed with the analysis, but the numerical answer it came up with was wrong. And the reason it was wrong, the calculation of the number of months that my channel had been around was off by about 14 months, right? And it was something that any human in a word problem would have been able to get right. So 100%. I mean, it'll be interesting. Maybe I'll move to Canada, you know? I like kind of the Calgary area, or like not Calgary, but like British Columbia. It's nice up there, you know? I think it's a good, I mean, look, as long as Canada and Greenland would agree, I think it's not required, but I think it's interesting. Like Trump wants to be famous, right? He wants to be remembered as this great, restorer of America. Like the Gulf of America nonsense is just dumb, right? It's just like, come on. It's just like Trumpian. But you know what you're going to get if that's the worst you're going to get, as opposed to like systematic debanking of conservatives from the other guys, and S&P 500 companies actively discriminating against white men by not hiring them. I'll take off of America any day. That's harmless. The other thing was like systematically evil. So I'll take it. I'll take it. I mean, I think it would just be it's Trump. He would be in a negotiation. So Alpha Draco was like, "How would we acquire Canada?" It's a totally different animal than Greenland. It would just be a negotiation, right? You guys, you can have Quebec. We'll take everything else, and they probably have some sort of mechanism in Canada where there's some national vote. I'm sure British royalty would have to get involved, and you know, who knows? But I think Trump would just say, "F them," like, and I would agree with that. I have no respect for monarchy. I think those people are goobers. Anyway, okay. No, I mean it's there's fewer people in Canada than there are in California, and California hasn't destroyed the U.S. In fact, it's like the world's like fourth largest economy, something like that. Even as we just have leaders who are idiots, but that's about it. Yeah, I don't know. It's got lots of natural resources. We get uranium and oil, right? There's only 24 million people, so they wouldn't really be a problem. They're like Canadians, right? Yeah, I'm 10x more productive remote. In fact, like when I have to go kind of in next week, I'm not like there's nothing's going to get done. Like I'm just going to be completely. But I work in a role that requires you to be requires quiet and silence, right? It's finance, and I like when you're in the office, people are constantly interrupting you. So, um, in fact, that was the only reason I like when a recruiter would call me. The first question they would get is the job fully remote, hybrid, or in office? And if they said 5 days a week, usually it's private equity because those people are just masochists. I would just say, thank you very much. I wouldn't even ask what the salary was. I wouldn't even engage in a discussion. It would just be like, no, thank you. Thank you very much for considering me. But unless it's fully remote, I'm not interested. So. Now, it would not be worth fighting a war in Canada to acquire them. I think they would have to consent. Let's see. I'm not sure what your previous statement is, but I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend. Gray owls in Canada for folks who don't know, but which is why like people like gray owl are in Canada. That's kind of like that's why I don't have the same opinion some people do about Canadians because I know there's like lots of self-reliant, like Grant Cameron, one of my favorite Canadians. He's Canadian, right? So yeah, I love Canadians. Let's see. Yeah, I think he will. I think Johnson will be implicated in the files. There's some video floating around that shows the guy sitting in the front seat turning around and shooting Kennedy. I don't know. It's probably an AI. It could be an AI fake. I have no idea, but I can't wait till this stuff comes out because our government probably elements of within our government probably murdered a U.S. president. Ah, he did. On day 2, Trump asked one of his staff to find out what the. Well, that guy better move. They're still out there. They're still flying around. You're just not seeing them in the news as much anymore. Well, they're appearing over nuclear power plants and nuclear weapons facilities. That's a little alarming. And they're the size of SUVs. So, I mean, if the Air Force is not taking them seriously, then we need a new Air Force. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I didn't watch the whole Jake Barber interview, but I did watch the John Blitch interview, and that is fascinating. I actually he spoke. He asked a question at Seoul. So the first time I saw him was at the Seoul conference, and he started talking about Delta. So I remembered as soon as somebody started talking about when I was in Delta, I'm like, what? I got to look at this guy. I got to remember this guy, and it was John Blitch. So. No, what's the UFO revolution piece? Who are the senators? Gray Al, can you like send me a link? Like, where I don't know anything about that. So no, I wasn't planning to touch it, but I might if I have more information. Interesting. Yeah, the dream I'm about to show kind of had a little bit of both. Actually, that's where it's kind of weird, but you'll see what I'm talking about. All right, sorry. By the way, I'm almost done the AI segment. I'm just like backed up on comments right now. Oh yeah, I had to push him out to the end of February because I have 3 interviews with Thomas Drake that I just did yesterday. Mind blowing. This is the guy this is the good Snowden, not the evil Snowden. Like this guy did everything right, and like the government threw the kitchen sink at him. Like he did everything by the book, and they tried to set him up. They tried to, but he was the one who said yes. The you like basically Cheney and his lawyer Addison. They basically decided to collect all internet traffic of U.S. citizens, right, or just everybody in the United States, and it was completely unconstitutional, completely illegal. When Drake asked the general counsel, for either the president or vice president, like, well, shouldn't we bring this to Congress? And they said, well, if we bring it before Congress, Congress will say no. It's like, what? So yeah, he's a national hero. He's a lovely guy already. And we also do like, so we do 2 segments on his background at NSA, and then the second segment or episode will be on what happened to him and how the government basically persecuted him. And then the last episode is based on his relationship with Christopher Robinson, who's a precognitive dreamer. And that's where it's like it's a completely different can of worms. I'm not going to say any more than that because I want this thing to go up and happen without a hitch. But this stuff's real. I mean, I can't emphasize that enough. I don't know to what degree, but it's real. Precognitive dreaming, remote viewing, although I haven't demonstrated on my own that remote viewing, well, maybe. And a lot of this other, not sure entirely about telepathy, but I would say communication with, non-verbal communication with animals in some sense, either conventionally or psychically. There's a lot of stuff that is just probably real. That I'd say probably on the communication with animal stuff because I've had weird stuff with that. But the precognitive dreaming is absolutely real. Yeah. He's definitely reversing all the garbage. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Yeah, well, you have to build things, Alpha Draco. There's some stuff like that it just is what it is. That might have been what I was talking about earlier. That was obviously I couldn't tell if it was doctored though. All right. Well, I haven't had time. I had to get on a plane tomorrow. Yeah, I think so too. I think that's definitely correct. Good seeing you, His Highness. Yeah, I don't know that story. I think there's something on the Y files about it. Oh, yeah, Mace I think was part of that, but I haven't seen that. All right, cool. Thank you, Greyhound. Obviously, I won't be able to watch it on this broadcast, but I can take a look. All right, so let me finish this up. Um, all right, so those are kind of the 3 scenarios we talked about. But at the end of the day, like anything else, AI is a tool. It's a reflection of our values and intent. If wielded responsibly, it has the power to create a better world for all of us. And kind of if used poorly, it could be problematic. But by fostering cooperation amongst different people, having strong ethical guidelines, an informed public, and just genuinely being thoughtful about its use, we can have a bright future with it. So Anyway, I'd love to hear your comments and questions on what you think the future of AI is going to be, but that ends that segment. So let's go to the next one. You're just gonna have to bear with me while I get everything, while I pull everything up. But all right. Almost there, I think. No, still a little bit more. No, actually, probably a lot more. Almost. Yeah, this is a while ago. Okay, I found it. All right. And just give me one more moment. All right. I think I got everything. Everything I need. Oops. All right. There's a bunch more comments. Huh. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, could be. All right. So I just have to find this thing. Here we go. All right. Sorry, I'm trying to do this in a way that is that looks good, but I really can't find. I don't like any of these. All right, that's probably the best I'm going to do. Okay. All right. Now let me just clean this up a little bit more. All right, now I want to be very clear. All right, so we're just going to go up to the top. And I want to establish some things about this. All right, so this is on my YouTube channel, okay? And as you can see, I wrote this 10 months ago, okay? All right. And you can just kind of see this is from my community tab. I'm just going to read it, okay? So if people on the radio can hear it. All right, so 10 months ago, I wrote this. I had another strange but quick dream that felt precognitive given the randomness of the subject matter, i.e., it's not something that I ever think about in my day-to-day experience. In that dream, there was a red-headed man wearing a forest green uniform, screaming at me and a group of other men wearing the same uniform. The uniform had a light orange patch outlined in white and with white symbols script on the patch. Okay. Just remember three colors. Okay. Because I don't think this is not exact, but just remember green and white. Okay. Orange, there might be some orange in what you see, but it's mostly green and white. The event took place in Missoula, Montana, and seemed to be some kind of labor strike. I had a sense that it was a mining strike, but the people protesting had meticulously kept uniforms, so it was hard for me to believe that they were miners, but certainly not impossible. Okay? Again, meticulously kept uniforms. It's important. Then at the end of the dream, I heard the word, this is unrelated, but it's also strange. Then at the end of the dream, I heard the word shamanis and then saw the word Jibril as if on a video screen. Again, I'm not sure what any of this means, but I Googled Jibril, found the name Jibril with an I, which is the Islamic name for the Archangel Gabriel, who it turns out is the patron saint of messengers, broadcasters, etc. Very strange. Okay. So what do we have? We have a labor strike in Missoula, Montana. People have a uniform that is green, white, and maybe some orange. All right. ChatGPT, was there a recent labor strike in Missoula, Montana? Yes, there have been recent labor strikes in Missoula, Montana. In December 2024, unionized Starbucks workers at the Brook Street location participated in a nationwide strike before Christmas, protesting stalled negotiations and labor prices. They demanded better wages and improved benefits packages. Additionally, in the same months, members of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters in Missoula picketed outside the Amazon warehouse. This action was in solidarity with a national strike against Amazon, advocating for higher wages, better benefits, and safer work conditions. These events reflect ongoing labor movements in Missoula, along with I didn't even by the way realize about the Amazon thing. I didn't pick it up the first time. These events reflect ongoing labor movements in Missoula, aligning with broader national efforts to improve conditions for workers. All right, so here's a news report. Notice green and white. First, can you all hear this, by the way? I'm just going to make sure you hear it before I play it. You couldn't hear it? Okay. Let me oh brother. Let me see if there's a way for me to. This is always a problem. Okay, definitely not there. Yeah, this is really frustrating when it does stuff like this. You could basically never rely on StreamYard to perform when you're trying to do something like allow folks to hear. Hold on, let's see. Maybe ChatGPT can help me. Just bear with me. All right, let me try this one more time. Okay. Okay, I think I figured it out. All right, again, I'm going to start from the beginning. Let me know if you can all hear it.
But first,
all right, are we good? Did you all hear that? I'm just waiting for a response, so if somebody could hear the music playing. Okay, got it. All right, here we go.
workers at a local Starbucks in Missoula are on strike. This is day 5 of a nationwide walkout during the company's busiest time of year. Employees stood outside the Starbucks on Brook Street on Tuesday, holding signs expressing their desire for workers' rights, including better wages and benefits. They told NBC Montana that this was the first day of picketing for this particular location. After 7 months of deliberation, Starbucks did not sign a contract with union workers, leading to a nationwide strike and one of the largest in the company's history.
I know so many baristas, it's holiday time. They shouldn't be struggling to pay rent. They shouldn't be struggling to buy groceries. Be focusing on spending time with
There's
family.
the red hair, by the way.
It's really heartbreaking.
Not a man,
that's
but
not
there's
reality.
the red hair.
So we're out here fighting and using that voice for every barista who works at Starbucks.
The store closed down earlier than their initially advertised 3:30 p.m. Christmas Eve hours, locking the doors and
all right. So was that a hit or not? I'm just curious. Again, this is just for me to demonstrate to myself that this stuff is real. It's not meant to show off or anything like that. But would you agree that that was a hit, or was it too far away from that reality for me to claim? Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it was oddly specific about Missoula, Montana, a labor strike, and the colors. Except orange, not. But it wasn't a man; it was a woman. But there was a redheaded person. I didn't pick that up the first time. Again, oddly specific stuff. Oops. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Hopefully, none of you saw that or heard that. I also wanted to see. Sorry, I'm just navigating my way back. No, I did not hear about the Starbucks employee who embezzled over $1 million. Does anybody else think that was not a hit? Which is fine. Yeah. Yeah, 'cause, I mean, it does do some creep. If you've ever used it, like I've used it to create legal contracts, and it's extremely effective. Like, just I mean, for low stakes things, but I would hire a lawyer for higher stakes things, but it's crazy useful for certain things. Well, that's the thing with these dreams. So anyway, let me post this. Yeah, that's the thing with these dreams. You can't. You just have them, and you're like, what the hell is that? You can't really control them, or you really can't control what you get. Well, I mean, maybe you can, but I haven't been able to yet. Has anybody experimented with things like this? It doesn't just have to be dreams, but it could be other areas. I'd be curious to hear what folks think. Yeah. Yeah, I saw a labor strike, and then the labor strike happened, and they were wearing uniforms that were, I correctly identified 2 out of the 3 colors, or sorry, I corrected all colors, right, green and white, but I didn't. I had the excess orange. I've tried that before. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, just when you have strange dreams, just write them down. You'll notice some really weird stuff that comes up when you do it. So yeah, highly recommend it. All right, let's see. Yeah, just make sure you write them down. Make sure you're recording your dreams when you go to sleep. Let's see. No, I did not see Dr. Phil arresting illegals. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's gonna Keep in mind, though, it's exponential, right? Like these effects are exponential. So it's hard to see. It's hard for the human mind to grasp that. At least intuitively. It's not hard to grasp it mathematically. Yeah. Yeah, Nathaniel could be closest. Oh, Fred, you got to say more. That sounds fascinating. So Fred's saying in his LDS missions, he's had a ton of premonitionary warnings or premonitory warnings. Yeah, my son is obsessed with numbers and he's counting now. It's really annoying. It's extremely annoying. I mean, he's 6 years old and he's like memorizing. If you asked him what 6 cubed is, he'll just look at you and say 216. He'll tell you what the factors of 72 are. I didn't train him. He just like it's all self-directed. It's really weird. Thank you, my friend. Long life and prosperity to yourself as well. Oh my God, you're scaring me. I don't know. I hope the Kali Yuga doesn't end in March. Sounds terrifying. Yeah, that's true. One does need to preoccupy the left-hand hemisphere. Exactly. It's not. It's cute. I don't know. It's still. You should be able to hear him on the show, right? It's kind of like, yikes. Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Oh man, I am running out of gas. I'll tell you that. Yeah, a Google is a 1 followed by, I think, what, 100 zeros? Something like that. Then there's a Googleplex or something, which is, I forget what that is. Yeah, we already went through that phase where duwada million, or there's like all sorts of crazy numbers beyond quadrillion. Like he would ask me these questions, like what's a number followed with 24 zeros, like crap like that. And they actually have names for a lot of this stuff. Not that I can remember it. Oh, I guess that's a good thing. Whenever I hear like a yuga is ending, I always think of like pole shift or something apocalyptic. Not apocalyptic, but like world ending. That's why it scares me. But if that's the case, then that's good. Interesting. Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it is being in the real world. Oh God, that's a word included the word God or a number. Yeah, yeah, there are fear porn. Yeah, exactly, exactly. What else? What do people have on the docket for next week? I mean, I literally have to pack like right after this, which I'm not looking forward to. I'm even looking less forward to what time I have to wake up tomorrow morning so I can sit on a plane and not be productive at all. It'll take me a long time to count to 1,000,000. Huh. All right, so Fred's writing it during a mission. He had a feeling that he had to leave the kitchen. Something blew up in it seconds later. He had a feeling that he had to stop the car, and his companion said he felt the same. And then you were about to fall into a ditch. Yeah. It's like God was on your side, my friend. I would hope so if you're on a mission. Huh. Jeez. Yeah, that makes sense. Definitely makes sense. So Fred's writing also, whenever we worried over somebody with no reason to be, they were in trouble. Overdosed, accident, etc., etc. I don't know, maybe once or twice a week, maybe. I don't know. It's maybe not that often, maybe I don't know. It's hard to I haven't really kept track. Um it all depends too. Like the more I'm stressed at work, the fewer experiences I have. Um like it's really tamped down since I've had to kind of return. Um because I guess I'm mired in the physical world, even though I don't necessarily want to be. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate, Lisa. All right, what do folks want to talk about? I think we have about 16 minutes left or so, and I'm running out of gas. Oh, man. Yeah, problem is time is an illusion Maya created. This is what the Urantia 001 is writing. The problem is that time is an illusion Maya created by human brain. Animals have no sense of time the way humans do, so the yugas sound like a big trap. Yeah, who knows? Alpha Draco is saying, I semi-frequently lucid dream. It's been a few months, but I get them quite a bit. Yeah, they can be, especially if you can take control of them. They can be a lot of fun. Yeah, I had a weird one with that my son showed up in, the one you all heard counting. I was in the dream with this like 60-year-old woman with like blondish gray hair, and he like saw me and then started chasing me, and I ran away. So I asked him the next morning if he had, if he saw me in his dream. He's like, "Yeah, Dad, I was chasing you, and you were with Miss so and so." And I'm like, he's basically his teacher, and I don't know what she looks like. So I just said, "Well, what does she look like?" And he described the woman in my dream. So sometimes you co-dream too, right? Is it 100% he was in my dream? No, but I think it was highly likely. That happened to maybe 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I'm sometimes attacked, but that's the one thing I notice in my dreams. Whenever something tries to do that, like they get messed up. They get messed up pretty badly. Like I am nothing messes with me. Like if it tries, uh, they get a surprise. Think of it as like a mouse, like a mouse, or sorry, a cat playing with mice, just toying with them. That's me in my dreams. If something tries to mess with me, let's see. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know if I can say that for sure, but oh god, Lisa, is that Through OBE or just in dreams? You go to the astro a lot. And if you do, why would you go down there? That sounds pretty dark. Yeah, I did. I'm not sure exactly what they were trying to say, but yikes. That's a dark dream, Alpha. Yikes. Oh, man. What other dreams do people have? Has anybody had like a dream with a precognitive flavor? No, Jalea's just gambling in her dreams. She's not in real life. Probably fine in the dream. Yeah, that's fair. That's definitely fair. Huh. So Bevy is writing, the only dream I ever had in black and white was recognition. It manifested a year after the dream in an actual location in Bayside, Queens I had frequented. Interesting. What other dreams have folks had? Oh, precognitive. Okay. Yeah, I sometimes can do that. But not always do I do that. Okay, let's see. That's pretty funny. Interesting. So Alpha Draco's saying I had a dream a long time ago that spun my creation of a science fiction universe. Nice. APB is writing, all I have are boring, mundane dreams that really rarely have any bearing, at least not yet. But the ones I had as a child have all come true in their own way, but not a probable way, at least to me. Interesting. By the way, APB, how are you? I know you were sweating about the fires down there. Are you okay now? Have things kind of abated? Have you gotten the all clear, or are you still? Is it still a little dicey down there? I'd be very curious to hear because I know you were stressing out like last week, and I hope everything's okay. And we're all kind of waiting on bated breath to see what. But if APB's here tonight, I'm assuming he's in a much better situation. Oh wow! So Jalea is saying she had a dream about being in a warehouse and boxes fell on my head and I died. Then she went and researched the imagery at the library, and then 1 month later, a pear packing plant for semi truck bins fell off of a forklift. Yikes! Huh. Interesting. All right, so APB is saying that all good. We got rain. I'm going to go and see after giving it 8 hours. It poured here in Ojai in the morning, and APB is grateful. All right, it's good to hear that you're okay. I think we were all a little bit concerned. Oh, the endless shopping mall dream. Yeah, that sounds kind of weird. It's definitely a weird one. What other dreams have folks had? I don't think the endless shopping dream can. I don't know. The endless shopping mall. It seems pretty dark to me. So Bevy is saying, I also had a precognitive dream about a dress store in New Orleans, at which I bought a dress afterward. I was never in that store before. Interesting. So it sounds like it was the exact same store that you saw and interacted, kind of operated in.
There are 24 hours in the day, 12 in the AM and 12.
All right, good. Good to hear. So APB is writing, going to check CAL FIRE here after your cast. Thanks, guys. My bowels are happier. My sleep is going to be better, too. All right. Love you, too, brother. I'm glad to hear you're okay. Yeah, the mall is definitely weird. I'm surprised there still are malls, but there are. Kind of, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, back in like the 80s, they were kind of a formative experience, but now I'm not sure. I'm not sure what they've kind of mutated into. Okay. Yep. Good luck, APP.
No, it'll be 4 each quarter of an hour is 15 minutes. So that if you hear something say
Oh, wow.
or quarter until quarter to.
Okay. All right. What other, anything else people want to talk about in the last 5 minutes or so? Oh, man. I mean, do I want to predict what we'd see in the? I just think it's going to be clear that the U.S. government assassinated him. I don't know, actually. I think they're still showing up in different places. All right, good to see you. Good to see you, Casey. Any other strange dreams? Oops. I don't know. I don't know if they had anything to do with the drones. Was the mainstream news ever reporting on the drones? Local news, maybe, but I don't know about. Yeah, maybe they were a little bit. I think I showed some examples, but I mean, they probably don't need to do the drone thing now that the president that was pushing war with Russia is no longer president. So maybe they don't need to do a display anymore. Oh, that's a good question. The USS Liberty was like 1960 something. Can't remember the exact date though. Yeah, News Nation. They're not really mainstream. No, so Fred asked if I've had a dream that I wasn't sure if it I wasn't sure if it was a dream or a real apparition. I never had anything like that. Not that I can remember. I've had times when I've felt sleep paralysis, but I just go into a rage and break out of it. That's kind of how I do it. Oh, I don't know if it was that late. No, I got to look it up. Yeah, I guess it was 1967. June 8th, 1967, during the 6-Day War. Yeah. Let's see. Interesting. So Casey Albright's writing, "It's all I've ever experienced. I'm a UFO abductee. From the time I was 9, it happened 4 times. Last one was 2017 at Mountain View in Cleveland, Tennessee. Multiple witnesses. Yikes. Interesting. Lisa's writing, my dreams are more real than this world." Bevy's right. I used to have dreams that I was arriving in the limo with Dick Cheney when I lived in D.C. long after he was VP. Lots of people were abducted that night. Interesting. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think the Israelis had anything to do with JFK assassination. I think it was probably CIA. Huh. Oh, thank goodness. So APB just wrote, just check the 3 major fires are at 90 to 98% contained, with only the Border 2 fire in San Diego at 40% contained. Oh, God. So Colorado and Oregon? Good Lord. Yeah, I did see that part. I did see that. Yeah. Anyway, all right. I think I'm going to bid everyone adieu. I got to get ready for a really painful trip next week. So I appreciate you all, and have a great week, and good night. God bless.